From the Miami Herald, in a first for a former Guantanamo captive freed by a federal judge, a Syrian man now living in Europe is suing the U.S. government for damages from what he calls a Kafkaesque nightmare. The lawsuit by Abdul Razak Al-Janko describes a decade-long odyssey of detention, first in the Taliban government era in Afghanistan, where he was tortured as an alleged pro-American Israeli spy, and later in U.S. military prisons that ignored or misdiagnosed his history as a torture victim. Janko alleges that U.S. soldiers urinated on him on his May 2002 arrival at Guantanamo, where he was subsequently beaten and subjected to solitary confinement and sleep deprivation. He says he attempted to commit suicide 17 times in despair. President Barack Obama's administration has so far had no comment. Janko is armed with a June 22, 2009 victory in his habeas corpus petition. It is one of so far just 38 wins since the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in June 2008 that the Constitution covers a Guantanamo captive's right to file false imprisonment petitions in federal courts. Judge Richard Leon, a President George W. Bush appointee, wrote in his 13-page decision that the Syrian's detention as a war prisoner, quote, defies common sense, in part because he had been held and tortured by the Taliban or al-Qaeda in the 18 months prior to his capture by U.S. troops in Afghanistan. The lawsuit, seeking damages to cover his medical expenses from physical and psychological damage in U.S. custody, as well as punitive damages, says he, quote, still has scars and other evidence of this physical torture and ill treatment, such as loss of bodily functions and inability to sleep.